Starmer flew to Kyiv to mark 2 years of British support for Ukraine. Putin sent missiles first. 2 people killed, explosions across the capital hours before Starmer landed. Whether it was a warning to Britain or a message to Ukraine, Russia made sure it arrived before the Prime Minister did. On July 16th, Russian missiles struck Kyiv, with loud explosions heard across the Ukrainian capital just hours before British Prime Minister Keir Starmer was due to arrive for a meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky. The attack raised questions. Did Putin intend to warn Starmer? Or was it a message aimed at Zelensky that no foreign support can save Ukraine? According to Ukraine's state emergency service, the attack hit 2 districts of Kyiv and killed 2 people, including a teenager. The strike also caused fires at warehouses and nearby vehicles. Starmer's Thursday visit to Kyiv is one of his final international engagements before he steps aside for a new prime minister. The missile attack also came as Zelensky dismissed Ukraine's defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov, as part of a government reshuffle. Days earlier, Zelensky had removed Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko, who had served only a year in office. The reshuffle has sparked anger, with critics warning it could create instability at a crucial moment in the war. Fedorov played a key role in Ukraine's war effort, including overseeing the country's technological advances, which have helped make Kyiv a formidable opponent. Earlier, the UK government released a press release stating that Starmer and Zelensky were set to discuss progress in the war against Russia, including the UK's efforts to support Ukraine both militarily and diplomatically.
The Prime Minister is traveling to Kyiv today, Thursday, 16th of July, where he will mark the culmination of 2 years of his leadership in supporting Ukraine's fight for freedom and sovereignty. The Prime Minister is expected to meet President Zelensky to discuss the progress made to date in equipping Ukraine to maintain its fight against Putin's illegal invasion, and hold talks on where allies should focus to ensure Ukraine has what it needs. Having played a pivotal role in building the international coalitions, military support, and long-term security partnerships that have put Ukraine firmly on the path to peace, Keir Starmer will tell President Zelensky that British support for Ukraine is unwavering. He will set out how the work undertaken by the UK and its allies over the last 2 years has helped put Ukraine in its strongest position yet to defeat Russian aggression and secure a lasting peace.
In comments ahead of his trip, Starmer said the fortitude of the Ukrainian people since Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022 had preserved the security of Europe. In his statement, Keir highlighted Britain's contribution to the Ukrainian war effort during his 2 years in Downing Street. Starmer said he was proud of what Britain has contributed and that the work would continue. Starmer added that the UK's cast-iron support for Ukraine would endure, not only for Ukraine and European security, but also for families across Britain who have felt the impact of the war through rising prices.
I am so proud of what Britain has contributed. That work will continue, and our cast-iron support for Ukraine will always endure. Not just for them and for European security, but for families in Britain who have felt the cost of this war through rising prices. When I became Prime Minister, I knew the UK must not simply stand with Ukraine in the moment, but help build the foundations of its long-term security and success. That's why we put the UK at the center of a stronger Europe, investing more money into defense, leading the way in the war-fighting technologies of the future, and doing everything we can to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position.
As Starmer arrived to reaffirm Britain's support, Russia ensured its missiles spoke first. The timing of the strike has fueled speculation that Moscow wanted to project strength and undermine the symbolism of the visit. Whether it was a calculated warning or a coincidence of war, the message was unmistakable. Even high-profile diplomatic backing cannot shield Kyiv from Russia's attacks. Ukraine has reshuffled its wartime leadership, but one decision has overshadowed all the others. President Volodymyr Zelensky has removed Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov, the architect of Ukraine's drone warfare strategy, despite recent battlefield successes. The move has triggered public protests, resignations within the military, and renewed questions over divisions at the highest levels of Ukraine's defense establishment. Mikhailo Fedorov, just 35 years old, had served as defense minister for only 6 months after previously leading Ukraine's digital transformation. During his tenure, he became closely associated with Kyiv's expanding drone program, championing Ukrainian startups that developed unmanned systems capable of slowing Russian advances and striking military targets hundreds of miles inside Russia. Fedorov also oversaw the development of mid-range drones that helped isolate occupied Crimea while introducing reforms aimed at improving conditions for frontline troops.
Crimea has become a target for Ukrainian drones. I think this issue is related to a new technological stage of the war and the ability of Ukrainian drones to use technologies that allow for such operations. The technological development of our country led to the fact that, at the moment, we have the opportunity to carry out such operations. And we are working to ensure that this technological capacity grows every day so that we have the opportunity to carry out new operations with new strength, not only in Crimea.
In a statement following his dismissal, he said Ukraine had procured more drones in 4 months than during the entire previous year and had launched support programs for modern drone assault units. He also pointed to fixed-term military contracts and significantly higher salaries for infantry and assault troops as key reforms introduced during his time in office. Despite those achievements, the Ukrainian presidency announced a sweeping government reshuffle without explaining why Fedorov had been removed. Shortly beforehand, President Zelensky had stressed the need for dialogue between the army and defense ministry, saying unity was Ukraine's greatest strength and that both institutions needed to share the same vision. His remarks appeared to acknowledge growing disagreements between Fedorov and Commander-in-Chief General Alexander Syrsky over how the war should be fought. The decision immediately sparked a backlash. Thousands of demonstrators gathered outside the president's office in central Kyiv, chanting "reappoint" and demanding that Fedorov be returned to his post. The protest took place near the Ivan Franko Theatre, a location that has become symbolic of anti-government demonstrations since large protests there in 2025. The unrest spread beyond the streets. Deputy Commander of Ukraine's Air Force, Pavlo Yelizarov, announced his resignation, describing Fedorov's dismissal as a great evil for the country's defense capability. Soldiers, veterans, lawmakers, and civil society figures also criticized the decision, arguing Ukraine was losing one of its most effective wartime officials without a clear explanation. Meanwhile, Zelensky has nominated Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko to replace Fedorov as defense minister, although the appointment still requires parliamentary approval and has already faced resistance from some lawmakers within the ruling Servant of the People party. As Ukraine continues its war against Russia, the removal of the minister credited with transforming its drone campaign has exposed rare public divisions inside the country's wartime leadership. Whether the reshuffle strengthens Ukraine's military strategy or deepens existing tensions may become clear in the months ahead,